Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order July 21st, 2015 at 6 p.m.
Call the roll. Mr. Genoway.
Here.
Mr. Crandall.
Here.
Mr. Mahoney.
Here.
Simcoe here.
If you could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did anybody have any questions on the regular meeting minutes from July 7th?
I'll move for approval.
Second. Call the roll. Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Genoway. Yes.
Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda this evening?
No, we don't.
How about looks like a deletion to your hair? You looks like you had a haircut, John. It's looking pretty good there.
It was a couple days ago, but
Okay.
it just needs combing when it's not wet.
Do we have any hearing on the public for agenda items this evening?
No, we don't.
Okay. Daryl, you're up on the zoning.
Good evening. This one will be brief. Monthly report for June for the zoning department. We had another real good month as far as permits. Over $13 million in estimated value. A big chunk of that, you can see up in the middle, that $8.3 million for new construction multifamily. That is the villas at Sunset House that was approved earlier this year, late last year, whenever that was. They came and got the permit for those villas, so that's what that is. But even without that, we're still ahead of where we were the past 2 years. Year to date, 236 permits and almost $38 million in value. Scrolling down to the single-family dwelling permits, we continue to be down from last year, about 13.5% both in number of permits and estimated value. Zoning complaints continue to be up, 106 year-to-date, driven mostly, no surprise here, high grass complaints. We've had a little bit of rain this year, so the grass is growing. Monthly meetings, BZA, they were kind of busy. They had 4 things on their agenda. 2 of them were variances for Stranahan Elementary for a new monument sign along Holland, Sylvania. And then they had 2 other residential variance requests. The Zoning Commission had the zone change request on Sylvania Avenue that the trustees approved at their last meeting, as well as the text amendments regarding an expiration for variances and conditional uses that the trustees also approved. And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Rob, do you have anything do you have any questions for Rob for the road service department? Comments? Nothing? Okay, next up is the fire department. We're going to do the monthly report first, and then we'll talk about the resolution second.
Good evening. You have in front of you the June monthly report. As usual, page 2 and 3 have our run totals. If you look at page 3, our difficulty breathings are up a little bit as we anticipate as the weather gets warmer, and our traumas are up a little bit also. Traffic accidents and traumatic injuries, motorcycle season, so that's starting with that. Next several pages actually, we had 18 instances where there were no ambulances available for transport to the hospital. Totals, well, we had 6 people go by private conveyance. Springfield gave us help 7 times to transport to the hospital. Toledo, we called on once, and Richfield Township, we called on 4 times for a total of 18 people that had to be taken to the hospital. On page 7, our community risk reduction, we had 3 public education events. We had a return to the scene for that fatality fire we had at Hickory Ridge, where we installed smoke detectors in the neighborhood of those individuals that didn't have smoke detectors or changed batteries for them. Our engine companies performed 284 inspections during the month and re-inspections. Chief Reddick went ahead and attended a campus safety meeting and gave a talk on safety to local businesses and assisted at the health fair at Kingston. We also had participation in Safety Town and Safety City both, where we had a Monday that we do safety talks for the kids, and Wednesday we do EMS talks for the children. And then our crews also participated in Safe Kids Day at Wildwood Hospital there at Central and Reynolds. Our training, we had training on our new 4-gas meters. The 4-gas meters were meters we received from a grant from Homeland Security. These are gas meters. We'll have one on every engine, from every engine house, so when they go to the scene, they'll be able to do O2 sensing, CO, LEL, and H2S readings in a home. And we also participated in the annual safety stand-down, talked to the firefighters about safety and health issues. Next page. Lucas County CE for the month. We have a new protocol now with stroke. Strokes are becoming more prevalent, and the stroke doctors in this area have a new protocol similar to what we use for cardiac issues, where we have a STEMI protocol. Now we have a RACE protocol, and it's based on if the individual shows certain signs and symptoms, we take them to a hospital that can go ahead and get them to a cath lab to get the clot out of the brain if necessary, and that protocol started June 1st. Next page is our overtime. We had a total of 609.91 hours in overtime. 36 hours were run holds over. That's either a fire or EMS run that went over. Training were 176 hours. Staffing levels for minimum staffing was 276.5 hours. EMS standby, that's the EMS standby that we do at Centennial Terrace, and that is actually compensated. We're compensated back for that. And then Safety City costs us 60.75 hours in overtime. Comparing the overtime from 2015 to 2014, this year at this time and last year at this same time, we're actually $1,000 less than what we were last time, just as an FYI. Page 11, congratulations to Deputy Chief Ram. He also received his certification from the state of Ohio for fire chief certification. Big attaboy for him. And then on the next several pages, we've received a letter from the event coordinator at the Beach House, where we help participate in their annual event for fundraising. The next page is a nice thank you note for a lady whose life we saved. She was in cardiac arrest and we brought her back. And then the last page is a letter from the Savannah Police Division, Savannah City Police, thanking us for participating in the Safety City this year. And if you have no other questions about the...
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Did you get a chance to get this 18 responses, incidences with no ambulance? Have you had a chance to get to the suppliers? I know we're discussing things down the road with our levy monies and things like that, but initially, where are we at with getting together with these guys?
What we're finding out is that there are certain times of the day that the ambulance companies don't have crews available, and those are the peak times that either people are being transferred from the hospitals, usually between the 3 o'clock and the 7 o'clock issue, where the doctors come in and say, you're good to go home or you're good to go back to the nursing home, and they take those people back to the nursing home so they have no ambulances available for us, or in the morning where they actually are taking people to doctor's visits and whatnot, back and forth, so there are no ambulances available for us during that time period too. So it's a fluctuation of time, but most of these happen during the early morning hours or the morning hours from 9 to 11, and then the afternoon hours from like 4 to about 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Okay, good to know, thanks. Let's maybe just drop a call into those guys, or if you haven't done that lately,
Will do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. The next on the agenda is we want to replace our 1995 Dodge pickup truck. The pickup truck was actually given to us by the road department. It was 11 years old when we took control of it. We've had it for additional 9 years. It's actually doesn't run anymore. We actually use it to go ahead and transport our safety house, that for the kids, that we take the kids through the safety house. We have a hazardous materials trailer that we have all sorts of things in there that we can mitigate spills with, that we use it to go ahead and haul that around. And then any other things that we have at a fire, if we have to take damaged hose or damaged equipment back, we use that pickup truck for that also.
Author resolution.
Wait, I want to just go over the procedure for acquiring this truck. We went out and requested proposals from 2 local dealers here, Kissler Ford and Dave Wright Chevrolet. We also requested a quote for the state contract price of the truck. Kissler Ford did not come back with any sort of quote, and Dave Wright's quote was actually $150 less than the state contract price, so that's why we're going with Dave Wright on this.
It's good to keep it local.
Absolutely.
Is this, Chief, are you going to switch the brush truck to this too? Is that still the same plan?
Yes, what we're planning on doing with this, if we determine that we still need a brush truck or a mini pumper, what we'll do is we'll put a skid load on the back of that, in the bed of that pickup truck with a pump, with a small tank of water that we'll be able to use on a 4x4 to go into the fields in case we need that for a field fire. So it'll be a dual-purpose truck,
Is that
if you will.
something our staff will do, or?
The skid load is a package that you buy that goes in, and then I'm sure they'll anchor it into the truck. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I'll offer resolution 15088, purchase pickup truck.
Second. Call the roll. Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Genowine. Yes.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Chief Bomey, police monthly report and a couple of results.
Good evening.
Evening.
You have before you our monthly report for June. I'll make this brief. We'll go through it pretty quickly. Page 2, you can see the calls initiated or that came into dispatch. Those different figures, you can see the great majority come over the police phone. They total 403 total calls into dispatch. Page 3, you'll see our calls for service. We had 1432 calls for service. That's things that are actually entered into the CAD for the police department. Interestingly enough, you can see we're down on our calls for service, but as we go down the sheet, you'll see that we actually are up in almost every category offense report. We are also up in injury accidents. We are down slightly in property damage accidents. We're also up in our actual traffic citations. I'm not quite sure what that's about. I've noticed just listening to the radio, we seem to get a lot less burglar alarm. Most 99.9% of those are false, so that's a good thing. But I don't know if the alarm companies are doing a better job, the installations, the people, but we don't get nearly the alarm drops that we did. That's one thing I noticed. Anyway, we are managed to stay busy, especially this time of year. On page 4, you'll see our prisoner transport cost analysis, and again, we do transports for the city of Sylvania, also to Sylvania Court, and you see we're faring very, very well on that. Page 5, you'll see our detective caseload stats. Of note, there were 69 cases assigned in the month of June, of which they cleared 45 of them, leaving 24 active. They cleared 27 cases from prior months, so they actually cleared cleared a total of 72 cases. Page 6, nothing new there as far as just thefts and burglaries and drug offenses. Everything is pretty much concentrated amongst our commercial district on our commercial area on Central Avenue, and then 2 stores in particular on Monroe Street. I know there's a lot of businesses up on Monroe Street, but Gabe's and to a lesser extent Target are the 2 up there. Gabe's is, I won't say,
That isn't spot.
I'm not going to, yeah, exactly.
That's probably a good idea.
I'll stay politically correct on that one. And then on page 7, again, with our traffic crashes, you can see that the vast majority are along the Central Avenue corridor, which is to be expected with the volume of traffic we have on Central Avenue and such, too. There are a number of them on Sylvania Avenue, and then obviously, or of course, Monroe Street, although it was a little light last month on Monroe Street. Page 8, you'll see some of our community affairs activities. Of note, we continue to monitor the Mayberry car shows. We were at Safety Township, as Chief Kowalski said. We conducted our Safety Township June 15th and 19th out at Central Trail Elementary. Speed trailer, we've placed out at Eaglehurst and Moffett and Cheney due to resident complaints. And I also will tell you, in case you get any calls on it, we really, one officer on day shift in particular, have cracked down on Elmwood and written a number of tickets. That's used as a cut through to Tiffany Village and all those real nice, that nice neighborhood back there. And obviously a lot of those residents, this is in response to, in fact, he was in here once, okay? He was going to try to get speed bumps, that real nice older gentleman. But anyway, he came in to see us, and we've really tried to address his concerns and written a lot of tickets down there. So hopefully we're sending the message out. Page 9, you'll just see I think the one, actually that is not included in here, but I did send you in the weekly report a description of one use of the K9, which was pretty neat. And you can see the other ones there. As far as tracking a call on a criminal damaging, the K9 was able to track him to where he got in a car. So unfortunately, it wasn't we knew that what it did though is it helped the officers. They didn't continue to search on foot. They were able to confirm that the guy got in a car, and so they weren't wasting a lot of time out there setting up a perimeter, checking him for him on foot. And then you'll see the other incident where we assisted Sylvania City up on Sylvania Metamora Road. Page 10, just some figures that the money that we've received and placed into our accounts. Of note, there's a decent sized one there for almost $5,000, and then a couple of bigger ones. The biggie is from our DEA task force officer involvement for almost $23,000, and then another one for almost $10,000. So that continues, and that's great because it helps us fund special things that come in. We use that money. It was an allowable use to use some of that money in creating an office space within our squad room, because we've moved out of, we're at the end of the month and we're moving out of Mayberry. We're moving our community affairs. And that's stuff that wasn't budgeted, so it's really nice to be able to dip into those funds. And then just Sylvania Muni Court revenue, you can see down at the bottom, was almost $3,000. I don't know if this got included. No, it didn't. I asked Nancy, I think it got left out of the last month or two, and I pointed out to her that we needed to have it all the time. And I can get you a copy if you need it. But our OT for this month, in dispatch we had 129 hours, in patrol we had 251.41 hours, in command only 22 and a half hours, for a total of 408.91 hours, which isn't too bad for the summer. And also considering that we're 2 less officers than we were last summer at this time. I will also mention that we are currently, our expenditures for overtime are 34.79% of our budgeted amount for 2015. so that's well under the 50%. So we're doing okay there. Actually, this page didn't get included in there either for some reason. DEA task force activity. This kind of speaks to, now this is our guy working all of Northwest Ohio, but in the month of June, it kind of speaks to the thing I've been talking about a lot. They seized 9 grams of heroin in the month. They seized almost 2,300 grams of heroin. Heroin's more popular than marijuana now. Who would have guessed? And then in property seized or whatever, again, we will see a percentages down the road, but they actually seized $45,499 in U.S. currency in June. So we will eventually receive some of that too.
Very good.
And
Informative, Chief, thank you.
oh, you're very welcome. Are there any questions on the monthly report at all?
Chief, does the city have a K-9 unit?
No, they don't. No, city doesn't, Maumee doesn't, Oregon does, of the ones comparable to us in the metropolitan area. Okay, I have 2 resolutions. The first resolution will be 15092, in which we ask you to certify the active hiring list that we developed over off of the test that we conducted some time ago. And I believe you saw a copy of the names or whatever. I think you got it. Did they get the list of the names for the certification?
It's on the resolution on the agenda, but I don't think we got it separately.
Okay.
I'll offer Resolution 15-092, certification of active hiring list for the police department.
Second.
On the roll, Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Genoway.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And then in line with that, I present Resolution 15-091 for your authorization to hire 2 police officers. We've completed that process, and we've got 2
My
names.
understanding is this is 2 replacements, correct?
Yes, we lost 2 officers last year, as you know, and this is basically to replace those 2.
I said to Zeitler, how'd this all of a sudden get on the agenda? He reminded me, we approved this last October.
Well,
The process takes a little time.
we're very thorough.
Yeah, that's my age. Okay. I'll move Resolution 15091, authorization to hire 2 replacement police officers.
Second?
Mr. Crandall.
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Genoway.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chief. Next item is just a discussion. I have John Burrell here to talk about the legal aspects of it, but it's joining the Northwest Ohio Energy Special Improvement District, known as ESID, and I have some brochures.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is an economic development tool that will cost the township nothing. It's completely voluntary on the part of the participant. It's a way for businesses and apartment complexes to improve the efficiency, energy efficiency of their complex or business, and borrow money from the Port Authority, who then they'll pay it back through a tax assessment that we will put on the tax rolls for these businesses. Once again, it's voluntary, done by the business, and I'll let John talk a little bit about the legal aspects of what actually happens.
The Port Authority several years ago formed a special improvement district, in this case an energy special improvement district. It's primarily Toledo, but I think it also includes Oregon, Maumee. This is the first township that would join if you choose to join. And what happens is, by joining the district, that allows businesses within that district, as John explained, to voluntarily have their property assessed. That assessment is then collected and used to pay off loans that were obtained to increase their energy efficiency. It's an assessment that the trustees would put on, but it can only put on if the property owner wants to do it. It isn't something you can do on your own. Property owner has to request it, so it's completely voluntary. It's not a tax abatement. It doesn't lower the amount of taxes that go to other government agencies. It's a special assessment which goes on the property tax, increases the taxes, it then is used to pay off the loan. It's a simple matter to join. The Port Authority's attorneys will prepare all the resolutions for you to join, if you're interested in doing that. Every time a property owner wishes to, or business owner wishes to take advantage of the program, there's another set of resolutions that have to be adopted, and the Port Authority's attorneys would prepare all of those too. All you would have to do is approve them. So again, it costs the township nothing, doesn't increase taxes, but again, only voluntarily. It doesn't lower the amount of taxes that go to other agencies on the property tax. As John said, they view it as a way to improve business and to give business more capital to pay for other expenses. If you're interested in joining, there's two things you could do. We could get the resolutions for you to join, or we could have representatives of Port Authority to come out and give you a little bit more of an elaborate, a little bit more of like a slideshow about exactly what it is. We thought that before we did that, we wanted to make sure that there was some interest before we had you sit through a presentation.
I picked this up earlier today. It looks like a pretty good program. What I really like about it is it helps our existing businesses here. And usually the savings pay for the improvements that they're doing.
That's the whole idea. They're supposed to be certified so that actually...
And I think it's a way of helping our existing businesses.
There was already one business interested in taking advantage of the program.
I'm wondering about the city. If we use the township boundary that we use for the fire district, that includes the city, or should we make a contact with the city and be sure they're for this?
They've already been talking with the city. The city would join itself. They would take their own. It would just be the unincorporated portion of the township.
Okay.
Right, and they've already talked to the city. This program is active already in the township, but just in a different way. They also give stray loans.
I noticed there's some companies...
Right, there's some already, they're already doing that. Right, they're already doing this. So they're already active out here. It's just that they need your approval to have this aspect of the program.
I'm fine with it. Are you guys okay?
Yep.
All
If
right,
that's the
great.
case, then we'll contact the Port Authority and have them prepare the documents.
Okay.
I don't know how soon it will be, but we'll get the documents and the resolution.
Well presented, John. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, John. Next up is the fiscal officer, Mr. Simcoe.
We'll really do the month-end packet rather than the resolution. We'll do the analysis first, 'cause that's how we always do it. But we're at the 6-month mark, and so our expenses really, we're trying to keep them at 50% or below. And so the good news is that all of our departments are doing well on their expenditures for this year, as you can see from the numbers there. You note the road and bridge fund, but as all of you were signing documents and that to expend money, we're starting to see the road and bridge fund starting now to pay for some of these projects that they normally could do in the summertime. So they're going to catch up. We shouldn't be worried about that. So the expenditures are going well. Our revenues are actually slightly better than what we had projected. Fire fund is down slightly, but then if you notice, we've not received the second quarter EMS contract, and so that bumps them up a little bit. So suffice to say that we're starting to see the books take a little bit of shape now, because we're at about the 50% mark. And we're really on target on our revenue and expenditures. So again, the revenues, we don't control those so much because that's tax dollars coming in, and whatever kind of comes in. But it's more the expenditures, and so that's the thing that we kind of really work to keep our eye on. And those things are doing well at this point. So it's good numbers for us, I think, at this point in the year. If you don't have any questions, I do have a couple of resolutions, and the first one is 15-090, and it's an appropriation for unencumbered funds, and basically we need some funds for hiring costs and equipment rental. that exceeded the amount provided in the original budget, kind of smaller amounts, but we do need to have a resolution to pass these two items here. Oh, wait a minute, I have a bad, I have this one here that was shipped to me. This is just slightly different.
This is
This resolution 089?
Oh, okay, I'm going with, I was doing the other, well, okay, well, then we'll try 15-089. And there's some light items that need to be increased to provide expenditures not anticipated in the original budget, and this is 15-089, so transfer of appropriation. And these numbers are just a little bit larger. But the largest one is the state examiner's charges that, you know, we've been billed.
We needed money in the contract line for the general air pickup and fall in the contract. And again, we didn't have an audit this year, so there's one from that line.
Okay.
I'll offer resolution 15090, appropriation from encumbered balance.
Second.
Calling the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
And then I already reviewed resolution 15-090, so you don't have any questions, we need a resolution on that one.
I think you said 90, didn't you?
Did I?
Oh,
I stand
090,
corrected.
15-090.
This is 15090.
I thought you had them,
Okay, you're right.
I think we did 090, we gotta do 89.
89.
I'll move resolution
Okay, well,
1589.
Good catch.
When they do the minutes, they
Second.
catch it in.
Okay, we'll call the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Dave, just quickly, great, I appreciate you doing this summary every month and keeping an eye on the numbers, and it's good seeing revenues ahead of expenditures. So, great work.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Nobody signed in on the hearing of the public, and I have nothing for open discussion.
I'd like to offer an adjournment at 6:33.
Second?
We'll call the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
John.
All right. Yeah.